Morning. I guess it is morning, hey? I do most of my lives in the evening, except Saturday. Saturday in the morning. Although I might change that at some point. It depends on you whether you want to hang out and do the meditation on Saturday morning or if you want to do the meditation Sunday night. But I think if I change the meditation to Sunday, I'll probably make some other changes at the same time. I'm so happy that I put it together and came outside to do the live out here because it's just such a beautiful space. All right, now I got to share on my other one. And then we're just going to rest for a minute. Good morning. I think I might actually have to get up and go get my glasses. Because I'm like, I can see fairly decent. Hi, how are you? Meditate now? Is that an order? Meditate now? Hi, Carol. How are you, love? Hi, Kelly. How are you? I'm going to pull out my cards and we're going to check in on the energy. I'm very happy that I was able to do my live outside. I actually have a umbrella here just in case it gets really hot to protect my electronics. So on your screen, you can see the top of it, but I've been wanting to I love doing lives outside. When I was in Costa Rica, that was one of my favorite things. For one, I actually like sitting cross-legged on the ground. I've, I don't know. I think if I was a teacher, I would have loved to sit and talk to my class, like sitting on the ground cross-legged, like in the same level as them, right? As opposed to, like the teacher standing up and I'm the authority and I'm talking down to you. I've always been somebody that sees it as being on the same level. Like I learn from my students as much as I learn from another teacher, right? Just because you're at the front of the class doesn't mean you're the repository of all information either. So today we can talk about anything spirituality and healing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask the questions. I always say I reserve the right to answer them. And that's because, well, you know what it's like on social media. If I just said, yeah, go ahead, ask whatever you want, I'm going to get some pretty crazy things. All right. The other day, I thought it was going to snow in Alberta, and today it's it's a nice day, thankfully. If you're watching, I would appreciate it if you could or you can you can tap the screen, especially on TikTok. Really is a bit of a popularity contest here. But even on all the other ones, if you're watching the live, like the live so that it indicates to others that maybe it's a worthwhile live to watch. And it really is. It really is a great live to watch. And, sometimes you have to toot your own horn, and I will. I will toot my own horn. Because the thing that I teach you is not to escape life or to run away from yourself or to avoid being human, right? We didn't incarnate in this lifetime in order to escape our body or escape our physical, right? We incarnated into this dimension, into a physical form, because that's not something we normally have, right? You are a light body. You are light energy. So this physical form, imagine how attractive that is, right? Because when you are not in a physical form, how do you hug somebody? If you're not in a physical form, how do you eat? How do you taste? Right? So all of those things are a part of being human, and it's why we incarnated, was to have that experience. Now, it's definitely a hijacked realm right now, so the experience that we're getting isn't exactly the experience maybe that we want to be getting. So your belief system will create the reality for you. As much as, we've been led astray, let's say, to believe that, the Almighty sits on a throne and judges everybody and says, you can come in and you can't, and you can come in and you can't. And the only way that you can come in is if you, like, did all of these things. That's not the case. Right? That's what they've made so that they can make it seem like, number one, every single person that goes through the religious aspect comes in believing that they are inherently sinned, right? That they have sinned and that they need to, purify or whatever. And that's not the case, right? Like, it's not the case at all. So the divine is all around us. It's the ether element. The ether element is the unifying field of consciousness that exists outside of us and within us. Within us, it's in all the space, right? And it is also that, the divine separated itself into all the life that exists to experience life. So source is experiencing life through you as a fractal. You are not God, but you are of God. It's no different than my children are of me, but they are not me. And when my children pass away, they don't come back to being me. That's not the way that it works. And the same thing with source. You're always the energy that you've been created to be. That energy is eternal. And at any point in time, you can choose to go back to source, like when you die, right? Like, you can go back to source, but you don't lose yourself in that process. You never become back into the all and forget who you were entirely, right? Your life is ongoing. You're constantly creating and aligning, like creating on your soul record, right? So however many lives I've had, I've always been me. I've never been you. I've never shared your spirit. I've never, and the only time that I say that can get a little bit confusing is when we think about how source separated into fractals. And as it came down, it gets to the monad, to the oversoul. Your oversoul would have separated into 12 fractals with a 13th gate. You could be the gate or you could be a fractal. That doesn't make that you're not real. You just go back to the main, right? To the main part of it all. So belief systems are big. Like, if you believe without a shadow of a doubt that after this life you are going to hell, then Creator will allow you to have that experience. So you will effectively create a hell for you to experience until you realize that's not the truth. You do not have to experience that. Because it's all about the experiences. We want to have these experiences. And one of the things that source does not discriminate. It's like, whatever you're consistently focused on is what you're going to create. And people will say, well, then I'll focus on money. I'll just focus entirely on money and I'll create all kinds of money. But that's not the way it works either. Right? Because you have to look at, like, what is your focus on money? What is your underlying belief system? What is your nervous system doing right at this time? Because if your nervous system isn't regulated, it won't have the capacity to hold it. Right? You're welcome, Kelly. All right. I need a sip of tea because it's getting cold. It's getting cold. So when we're born into this life, we are born as, worthy, deserving. We are born as perfect, right? And, when we think about karma, well, yes, there's an element of karma that is real, an element of, okay, so if I did something to betray somebody, then somewhere along the line, I am going to experience betrayal because I must know the one side and the other side, right? Isn't it lovely out there? I'm so happy that I was able to do the live outside. But I might get distracted because there's lots of birds around, and specifically like the hummingbirds were flying. So you may hear them go by and the sound that they make, which is lovely. So when we, you're born perfect, you're born beautiful, you're born, like you're born divine. And then society starts to put all the stuff on you. Your parents give you a belief system, school gives you a belief system, society gives you a belief system. And next thing you know, you went from being divine and worthy and all of that. Oh, that's lovely. Lovely. Down under. Down under. So when we get these belief systems, then we start to think of ourselves as very small, right? If you had no ceiling because you knew that you were like infinitely powerful and divine and your life was eternal and you really understood the truth of everything, right? Your life would have took an entirely different course. But because we were given all of these beliefs and told that we were small, that we were Neanderthals at one point and we couldn't figure out how to use a fork, and that we had all of these really stupid times, right? Well, the way that they portray the indigenous tribes, like when they came to say North America and they founded it occupied, but when they founded it and the indigenous welcomed them with open arms, right? Because that's, like we were like the indigenous look at life as stewards, right? You are stewarding the land for the next generation. You are caring for it to give it to 7 generations is actually the way that it goes in indigenous, right? So it's something that we are passing through to the next generation, the next generation, the next generation. We're meant to be stewards. They've changed that for us, right? They've changed it. They've made the earth seem like it's nothing more than just a big old rock, a bit of dirt. You build your house on it and that's it, right? It is. We're stealing. We're literally like, well, I wouldn't say we are unnecessarily like this individual or that individual, but but many, and especially at the top I would classify not as elite. I don't like saying that they are elite. When you look at that word, it gives the indication that they are somehow superior or they are better. But I find that most of the people that are in the elite class are actually more parasitic, right? They're looshing your energy. They're stealing from you. They're spying on you. They're, manipulating you. They're trying to control you. They're concerned, so to me, that's a very parasitic class. And so the biggest thing that we can do is determine the truth, find the truth, and then live as the truth. And that's what I love to teach people. First of all, by reconnecting you more to yourself and back to the things that truly matter, which is nature, right? That's where spirituality is found, not in a building, right? You don't need a book. You don't need a building. Actually, that was the note I channeled yesterday, was that you don't need a building. You don't need a guide. You don't need a book. You don't need anything to have a relationship with source, with creator, with God, with whatever term you want to use for it. We don't need an intermediary. That's what's keeping us detached from it. Source is all around you, listening all the time. Like that unifying field of consciousness, if you could see it right now, it's in all this space. You would see it lying across, like if you were looking at somebody in your house, you would see that field of consciousness lying across their body. You would see it everywhere because the field of consciousness. Hi, Opalyn. How are you? How's your Saturday? Saturday. Sorry, every time it's just like when I say Saturday, it's all right. That song has to come to mind. So we're going to do a meditation today. I want to do a really good meditation because one, we are on the 8-8 portal. We are on the 8. So you're on the 9th. I used to always joke around whenever someone would say that, they're ahead, and I'd be like, what's the future like? Tell me the numbers for the lottery. And what makes you think that I'm here to pull cards? And what makes you think that you have any power over me whatsoever? Well, I'll see how much time I can waste of yours keeping you here, attempting to annoy me for a card. We'll see who annoys who first. We'll see who has longer game. Okay? Because I mean, I'm not somebody that gets my chain pulled around by somebody else. I'll tell you that. All right. So I'm going to read the channeled message that I wrote this morning because it may be of value to those who are watching. And so it's a shame that such an incredible being has been convinced that survival is their purpose, that you, eternal light, divine being, would think your purpose is to work in a factory or restaurant or some other job, and that is your purpose. This world being hijacked and made to be this way is not your truth. You are meant to sit and observe the beauty of life around you. You are meant to shine in your glory, your truth, and share that radiance with others. The world has been shaped around productivity. If you aren't productive enough or aren't producing enough, then you are a blight to society. That is so far from the truth. The person who builds a house is valued no more than the person who tends a nest. Life and taking care of it is the point. You are meant to be the stewards of this incredible world you live in. You and everyone are meant to see all life as sacred, even when you don't like it or find it uncomfortable. The fly may not seem as appealing as the butterfly, but his purpose is valuable. Watch a fly meticulously clean himself, running his front legs over his face, running his back legs over and under his wings. The care he takes with his delicate iridescent wings is precious to watch. There is life all around you, and it doesn't have to be seen. It doesn't have to move. You don't have to think it's pretty or pleasing. It all has purpose and value, and so do you. Your purpose and value are not tied up in what you do for money. Your value extends far beyond that. You are valuable and worthy and deserving always. You quit? You have a question? I don't know if I have time for an answer. Because all you were doing, by the way, was giving me comments that just turns up as comments. So it's actually beneficial for my live. So you can go ahead and try to annoy me by putting a lot of comments in my live, but you're just helping me out. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Right? You want to know, can a fly become a butterfly? No. Right? Wasn't that beautiful? The one yesterday was, I love the one from yesterday. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Big hug for you, my love. What do you think? Should we open a discussion and say that and ask, what do you think? Do you think a fly can become a butterfly? I mean, if we want to be cheeky about it, sure. If we put it in some butter. Yeah. People can, like there's a lot of loss that we deal with, right? Like we deal with a lot of loss in our lives, whether it's people or pets. And I know that when we're dealing with the loss of a pet, that can sometimes be felt even more so than the loss of somebody else around you. And that's because your pet is there consistently every day beside you, right? If Cass was to when Cass takes his final walk, I mean, I'm going to get crying. I can't even talk about him not being here without crying. So I can't even imagine like what you've experienced with Betty's passing. So I give you lots and lots of love, sweetheart. So you guys want to hear what the one was from yesterday? Because I think yesterday's message was really, really powerful. And I think that we should hear it. you can change anytime you want to, right? Most of the times our personality was derived from error, right? We decided that, oh, well, people like that, so if I like that, I can be connected. Well, people don't like that, so if I like that, people don't like me, or they make fun of me, so I'm just not going to like that. I'm going to hide the things that I like that people don't like, and I'm going to like the things that people like because I want to maintain connection, right? So oftentimes our personality is not what we think it is, right? So the one thing that you want to be doing is constant, like interoception is one of the best things that you can develop for yourself, right? The ability to question why I do the things I do, why I think the way I think, why I believe what I believe, why I react the way that I react. Having that ability is beautiful. Right? Did you like that? A fly turns into a butterfly when it lands in butter. Just, help me with my algorithm. Get the comments on there for me. Thank you. Hi, Jordan. How are you? How are you, love? Okay, let's read the message from yesterday, because the message from yesterday, I think, was really, really powerful. Okay. And I think somebody needs to hear this. So let's do it. As time passes, it can be easy to wonder when. When is it coming? When will it be here? Where is it? We look to the horizon and keep our gaze fixed, hoping to see the first signs of movement. Building the future, seeing the new earth, is something many are actively doing and waiting for. Some think we have to wait for everyone, and others don't. Some think there will be two earths, one old, one new, and depending on the evolution of your soul, you go to the appropriate earth, old or new. Whether we separate, I don't know what it is with that word. We separate or stay together. It is not the point to focus on. Focus on what you desire. Create what you know is needed for new earth and let the rest go. It doesn't matter in this moment if we think how reality works. You create it. Then you will realize if you see the world rise together with all souls, then that's the future you are building towards. If you see that some souls have no desire to come to New Earth, for they truly do love how it is and the dark future they are equally creating, then the new Earth you are creating will be manifested in that way. One thing we know is that it is frequency based. Not all souls will rise to the occasion. Maybe those souls will die and be reborn in New Earth without the veil in place. A new soul on New Earth would not be the same. They would experience their truth and the truth from birth. They would receive love, safety, and the right environment. At the end, worry not about who, when, or anything of those parts. You just need to focus on the earth we should live on, create it, see it, know it, and it will be here. That wasn't even yesterday's message. Hello, Gina. That wasn't even yesterday's message. I read the wrong one. So somebody needed to hear that. I think somebody's waiting and wondering about the creation and where is it? When's New Earth going to show up? Right. And we're constantly looking to the horizon to see those first signs of it coming, but that's not nice. Thank you. Hi, Jeff. How are you? Right? We're looking for that. But the thing is we're actively creating it, or at least you should be. And if you're not somebody that feels like you're like the front line of creating what we need for our future. So when you think about it, the current financial system's broken. The current housing system's broken. The current education system's broken. The current, like the way that we are stewarding the earth, that's broken. So there's all these things that are not functioning the way that they should, that do not honor who and what we are as, divine eternal beings. And we've been lied to and manipulated, and the distortions and everything, like it's insane. Does this world break or what? Right? What happens to So our whole thing is that if you aren't somebody that's creating, say, the new financial system to replace the old, or new education to replace the old, or new healing to replace the old, or new housing structures or anything like that, if you're not creating those things actively, then at least be somebody who is holding the vision of new earth in your mind, like of the future that we want to see. See the people that are parasites, see the people that are preying on our children, that are taking people, that are hurting people, that are killing people, that see all of those things that are toxic and unhealthy and harmful. See those things not being there. See an earth where people are honored, where health is the number one focus, where you don't have to worry about dying simply because you're not making enough money. Right? Like that should never be a factor for a human to have to consider. We should not have to worry that if I'm not making enough money, I could die because I might not have enough food, or I might not have housing. I might be out in the cold when it's -40. I found out, like, in Edmonton, and I know this was in some of the places in Ontario because I'm originally from Ontario. I moved out here so that I could help. I could join a partnership in Hugs for Homeless. So I'm helping my friend with starting up Hugs for Homeless and helping the unhoused. In Ontario, there's actually, like, you can get fined for feeding the homeless. Like if I was in Oshawa, Ontario with some sandwiches and I went down to where there's a homeless encampment and gave out sandwiches, I can get fined for doing that. They've literally made it in Oshawa, Ontario, that the homeless are viewed as like wild animals. If you feed them, you'll encourage them to stay. So you can't feed them. A lot of the spaces where they could put, like have a bed, or where they could put up a housing structure, they have put up spikes, or they've put up all these rocks and stuff so that people can't can't put a tent up there. Well, in Edmonton, they've now made it so that if you put up a tent or a temporary structure, you can get fined $250. If you are found sleeping in your car, you can be fined $250. So Edmonton just made it illegal to be homeless. Right? Like we are treating human beings like disgusting little things, right? We've dehumanized them. They talk and talk and talk in the homeless communities about how the unhoused are addicts, right? And they push the addict idea because the more that you think that it's just someone who's a big old druggie, a big old, someone that's a criminal of some sorts, then you don't have to worry about them. You can dehumanize them. You don't have to worry about it. Right? So you have to be careful about that. Only 25% of individuals who are experiencing homelessness are experiencing homelessness with an addiction. When they become long-term homeless, then those individuals that experience it for a long term, that ends up becoming like 28%. But every single person deserves dignity. Every single person deserves hope, and every single person deserves our kindness and compassion. I was almost homeless as an adult. The only reason why I wasn't is because I was able to stay at my mom's house. If I had been someone that was from the foster care system, I wouldn't have had a mom's couch and I would have been homeless. Right? It's that easy for it to happen to somebody, and it has nothing to do with education, with talent, with drive, with any of that. And as the money that it takes to live continues to increase through this artificial inflation, the people at the bottom are going to become more and more unhoused. In Canada, they're making changes to the MAID program, right? So now they're saying that they can just go scoop you up off the street and put you in an institution, especially if you have addictions, right? They can just go snap you up. They're looking at like doing the same thing with people with mental health, right? It's not that there's something wrong with the individual. There's something wrong with the entire structure of society, and that is why we have homelessness. right? The fact that Canada just said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to send $250 million to other countries, but we're going to charge $250 to an unhoused person who puts up a tent on public property. We're not going to address the issue that we have at home. We're just going to give money away because we're not actually giving it away. It's just money laundering in its finest, right? Like that's just the way that it is, right? It's just that money laundering in a different way, right? Take it from one pot and put it in another. Unconditional love, absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, guys. How are you? So yeah, that's been, I do want to read the note that I was going to read yesterday, like that I wanted to read from yesterday, and I actually picked the wrong note. So let me please read this channeled message. This is the channeled spiritual message that I channeled yesterday, but I thought it was so beautiful that I really just want to read it to everybody. My sweet children, I wish you remembered me, not like I've been made to seem, but my actual truth. I wish you could see me in you, in your child or parent. I wish you could see me in the plants and trees, in the animals and birds. I wish you could see me in the sunrise and sunset. I wish you could see me in all the space around you. I wish you could see how alive I am when you enter relationship with another. When you care for the cat and dog, giving scratches to their belly, I am there. I am there when the bird chirps at the feeder. I am there when the rain pours and the sun soars. I am all around you and within all life. You don't need a book. You don't need a guide to tell you how. You don't need a savior, a building, or a bunch of rules. You and me are we whenever you stop to notice me. When you speak to me in the wee hours of the night, I am there. You are not simply speaking to air. I have asked that you share your burdens, but do not become them or be overwhelmed. Lay them down at my feet and know you are safe. Thank me for the joy and love in your life. The more you tell me what you love, the more you focus on something, the more I know you want it. Remember that when it comes to the bad stuff. If you don't like it, don't put your attention on it, or I might be mistaken and think you want more. I am all around you. I am in every bit of life, and life is sacred. Right? Life is sacred. It is. Okay, I'm going to see if I can move my... Try to find a spot to put it so that we keep in the shadows, in the shade. Oh, don't get there. Set you right there. I think that'll be good. I just have to keep the heat off the iPad or else it'll overheat. And also I have to keep the light so I can see the words. Right? So that is our beautiful, like the messages that we wanted to talk about. If you have any questions, definitely ask me questions. I love to interact with people and I love to answer questions. We are going to do the meditation today. The meditation I'm really excited about because it's the 8-8 portal. Now, always be careful with whatever you're doing when it comes to like big energetic events that really get pushed around society these days. A lot of stuff that we see is done through the tropical or seasonal astrology lens. And when you think about that, if we're sitting here right now, and I'd have to look and see exactly where the sun, moon, and star, like where everything is right now. We just had, I'm going through my brain, we just had the full moon in Capricorn. Mainstream astrology would have said that it was a full moon in Aquarius, right? They're very different energies. So if you're following that dialogue of tropical, you're frozen 2,000 years ago. That's where that whole thing is the sun, like as the planet's frozen 2,000 years ago, and it just follows in a seasonal way. Every March 20th begins Aries season, and we continue around the wheel. But what true sidereal does is it's looking at the living sky, and it's just, where are the planets right now? So if you're going to be doing anything with those events and harnessing energy, make sure that you're at least harnessing the energy of the actual planets where they are in the sky, not where they are from 2,000 years ago. Thank you. If you're new, the creator is currently being a... You're hilarious. Don't you love the snarky comments or the silly comments that you get? I mean, you might not get comments like I do, Robert. You might not get quite the comments that I do. I just got one telling me that I'm apparently I'm a funny piece of something that you put somewhere that it's just people are just so rude. Just got to mute that comment. There we go. How special, right? On my other channel. So right now, I am live on 2 TikTok channels. So my main channel is Anshara'El, and that is associated with my school and with like my company. So it's Anshara'El, Pathway of Ascension and School of Light. And then Sharianne Lorian is the account that I made as a backup because I was getting some account violations because because we talk about the truth and they just can't handle it. So I got scared I was going to lose the entire channel because I was on like one more warning and I was probably going to get banned. So I created the Sharianne Lorian as a backup. And now I just do different things on each of the channels because, I got to make sure that there's a good reason for you to follow both of them. So I look at the Sharianne Lorian as more of my spiritual side and my earth name, Tanya, as more of the material side, which is kind of interesting. But I like it. We're going to do a meditation today, like I said, because it is Saturday, and that's what we do every Saturday here. We do a global meditation. The meditation is for peace, unity, love, and truth. Many of the global meditations you'll see will focus on peace, love, and unity, and then they oftentimes include respect. I changed that because I really truly believe what we need more than anything is truth, because the truth does set you free. So I would like to call in the truth for the entire world, and for anyone that's looking for the truth shall arrive for you. Okay, so we'll just put the truth out there. I do use toning when I'm doing it, and I like to to tell people that up front, that I will be toning so that you're not surprised when you're in the meditation that all of a sudden you start hearing me going ah or om. It's not a big surprise for you. I am going to do a little reading before we get started and check on the energies. And if you guys want to talk about what are you experiencing right now, are there any things that you're struggling with, and stuff like that? Because if there is, I'll help you get back to your center or back to yourself. Or if it's something that I think is really good, I'll put it in the meditation and we'll work on it there. Okay, so let me know what you're experiencing right now and if there's anything you need support with. I'm just gonna move back a little bit so I have room for my cards. All right, let's see. Let's see what we have coming out today. Nice. All right. Pick those guys up. They flew far away. Aw, Kelly, I think that's why you're here with me today, right? We lose ourselves so much in all these identities and roles and stuff. And after that type of that lengthy of an experience, it really, you become, I was a mother, a nurse, but stuff like that. I'm actually a creator. That's what I would say. I create my cards for a reason, right? Like I did all the pictures on these cards. This deck here is the Etherian Tarot. I'm writing a book, Elemental Magic, Elemental Fieldwork Codex. So it's based on the elements. So this deck would support that education. The 44 Keys of the Way is the other deck that I have. and this supports the study of consciousness and following the 44 keys. The 44, the sacred teachings of Yeshua was the 44 keys of the way. I do the return to center ones. This is based on my return to self program, which is a trauma program. So I make all of my cards to really support the stuff that I'm teaching. And I use it more as an adjunct to whatever I'm doing. So as a supportive thing, as opposed to, it's not my main thing. My main thing is I am very well versed in a lot of things when it comes to healing and spirituality. I was a nurse for over 20 years. I went on my own healing journey because the medical system was not working for me. I became very, very, and I became driven to really understand what was wrong with me, which was, at the end of the day, I had nervous system issues and I had trauma. So I became an expert in in nervous system and in trauma and mental health. And then I kept expanding with spirituality, because as I continued the healing, which many people do, as they continue healing and as they continue opening up, right? As your nervous system begins to become more regulated, as you remove the identities and the masks and you clear the toxins from your system, you really do open yourself up more spiritually, maybe receiving more downloads, opening yourself up to your gifts. Although I know there's somebody watching who has done a lot of studies with me, has taken a lot of courses. And in all of the courses, I bet she would even agree, the number one thing about getting access or about using your gifts is actually using your gifts, right? The reason why I channel these messages every day is because I channel these messages every day, right? I built a practice. I started one day writing it and just believing that I could do it. And trusting every time that I got the message that it was not me making things up. I wasn't being silly. It wasn't, like whatever. And so that's how the practice became a practice that now I fully trust, right? This is the second full book that I've written just for the collective. And I also write notes for myself and channel those notes. Nice. 24 years in the nice. Same. I was focused in the Emerge department. It's kind of funny because, one of the things that I can tell you for certain is that money does not equal wealth. Your health is more the wealth. All right, we got to get a couple more cards here. and then we can do the reading, and then we'll get to our meditation. I left when I left nursing, I was the director of nursing and part of senior management, running a hospital and long-term care. My direct areas that I looked after was the emergency department and acute care. And I left, started my company because, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I ended up having to take a medical leave of absence to deal with my health. In the process of going through that, I found out what I really had was trauma and a nervous system that had wired incorrectly. So I started working on that. I realized that the healthcare system was more sick care than healthcare, in that they love to keep you sick, love to keep you continuously on medications and under services and programs and stuff. So you never really get free. That didn't work for me I was in my 40s. And at that point I was like, I'm not ready to give up my life. I'm not ready to, I was at that point at 9 medications. I was so sedated, I wasn't able to drive even. So I said, that's enough of that. And I took my healing into my own hands. I started researching all of the greats where it came to trauma. I started looking at all the best things that you can do for your nervous system. I started meditating, and I looked at my diet, cleaned that up. I looked at my social circles. I cleaned that up. I became obsessed with the present moment. I did all of these things, and I kept building and learning and growing. And when I went to return to work, because I felt I was healthy to return, my place of employment showed me how toxic it was in that meeting, and then I never ended up going back to it. I returned to nursing briefly to work in occupational health as a contract and to do some contract positions. So I would pull contract work for a few months, and then I would stop and go back to my company. But I stopped doing that when I moved back to Ontario, and I just ran my company full time. I worked in an inpatient trauma and mental health facility for a while. But that's been my thing. My biggest thing is I want to return you back to yourself and to give you tools and practices that you can use so that you can embody your spirit, and be yourself, be truly yourself, and live in a way that's healthy and holistic for you, right? I want to teach you how to think, not what to think. And so that's why in the study of consciousness that I'm doing, it's about the ways of knowing. It's not just telling you, you should know this or this is the truth, right? There's so much information out there. Oh, we got a good reading, guys. We've got a great reading. So the first card that came out was the Two of Water, and this is divine union. Now, twos often represent balance or harmony, right? Where you're trying to really balance out things. This is emotional, which means that there is emotional balance that's occurring, or that could be an even energetic exchange between you and another person. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is, in fact, a divine union. It could be a soul friendship. It could be a collaboration or a partnership that you're meant to enter in for a while. So it doesn't have to necessarily be that. But at the end of the day, the Two of Waters signifies sacred love and soul recognition. Whether this is the deepening of an existing relationship, the arrival of a new soulmate, or a reunion of divine energies, it represents the beauty of emotional connection and a shared journey. Be open to love in its truest and purest form. Right? All right. Now, we had the Six of Earth. The Six of Earth was the only card that was in the reverse. The Six of Earth is, so when we're looking at Earth, always remember Earth equals worth, right? So Earth is either our money, or it's our value, it's our provisions, it's our protection, it's how we provide for ourselves, it's our stability and security. So Earth is worth. And when we have the six, even though it kind of gives that energy of the eight, because there's a reciprocating thing, it's back and forth, which is why the picture on it looks like an eight, even though it's the six. And that's because the Six of Earth represents give and take. And when we are in the reverse position of it, it means that somewhere in your life, there is a disparity of that. There's somewhere where you're either giving too much and not receiving, or where you're receiving and you're not giving back. So it is talking about that. There's a power imbalance, that's potential there. So the Six of Earth is a reminder that prosperity is a flow, not a possession. Whether you are in the role of giver or receiver, trust that balance will be restored in all aspects of generosity. Okay? All aspects of generosity. They create these little ripples, and it's going to come back to you. All right. We also got the Judgment card and the Six of Fire. And these two cards together are just so powerful, because they're both speaking to, in a way, the same thing. The Judgment card is about really recognizing who you are and standing up in that thing. This is the Divine Awakening card. It also represents Ophiuchus as major arcana. So for the tarot representation for that particular sign, which the Ophiuchus is actually a gate, not a full sign. So this is awakening, ascension, divine calling, higher self-realization, clarity, past healing. Like, it's a beautiful card to represent all of this. This is the cosmic wake-up call. It is time to step beyond illusion and embrace the infinite brilliance of your divine soul. You are ready for the next level of expansion. And the Six of Fire, this one here has always been the card where you're getting it. You're finally getting the recognition and the triumph that you've been seeking. It's finally coming to you. So the Six of Fire reminds you that the journey has been seen and honored. So whatever you're doing, it's finally coming to you. You're finally seeing the rewards of it. So take this moment to celebrate, but also recognize that your fire is now a guiding force for others. So this is the leader that takes the stage. This would be like for me, right? That's sitting here and speaking, and that part of my, as much as I don't find myself to be an influencer or anything like that, because, I don't want to influence you forever. I just want to teach you how to live your life in alignment with you. That's it. I don't have to be there all the time. I want you to be sovereign. So this person here, maybe that's their thing, is they're leading by example. Maybe there's somebody that's on the stage. Maybe they are an influencer, but either way, now is their time to shine, and they're getting the recognition that they deserve. This did not come without work, though. There was work in this. There was a lot of effort that was being put inside, like whether that was realizing the truth of who and what you are, releasing traumas and shadows and lies and illusions and deceptions and all of that, to finally stand in your truth and not step back on that. All right, so I pulled out, we've got the light of discernment from the 44 keys of the way. The light of discernment, I trust my ability to sense the truth. Now, discernment is felt in the body, right? We can have a feeling of intuition where we just have a feeling that there's something here. Our body is what's going to tell us what that is. So when we come into a room and you just feel this heaviness, that's something for you to make note of. It's not that you feel that heaviness and you immediately leave the room, but you maybe at least interact with it and wonder, why did I feel that heaviness? What is it about this space? Again, we're returning to introception. What is the interoception? Sorry. And when we're doing this, what is this? Why am I feeling this way? It could be the environment, or it could be somebody within the environment that is affecting you with that energy. So pay attention to that. Listen to your belly, listen to your chest, listen to the tightness in your body. We've been trained so much to sit there and go, oh, I'm a certain age, I'm old, so now I've got all these issues. You're not supposed to have those issues. You're not supposed to just immediately be tired because you're over 40 or you're over 50 or whatever age it is that you've said to yourself, that's where I'm going to have this. Oh, it's 40, got to get my glasses. Oh, 50, tired all the time. Oh, aches and pains, right? We get taught that so much, so then we believe that that's just exactly what we're going to experience, and we line ourselves to experience that. When we're doing that, we bypass the fact that our body is giving us a lot of signals and signs. That fatigue might be that you are in an environment that is not suitable for you. It could be that there's a lot of frequencies, or, like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, radio waves, like all kinds of frequencies that are maybe affecting you. The other reason could be that maybe you're in there and, the reason why the energy is affecting you is because somebody else that's there is actually targeting you energetically or trying to draw your energy away from you. So always look at that. There could be multiple reasons why you feel that way. It isn't just, oh, I'm old, I'm going to feel that way. Because then you're missing out on a lot of those things, right? You get that, that suddenly that feeling in your stomach, and you just think, oh, it's just something I ate. Well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe that feeling in your stomach is because of something in your environment that's not aligned to you, or that is bringing up something that you have to look at a little more deeply. But your discernment is felt. So if you're not able to feel your discernment, it could be because you're dissociated too much from your body still. And you need to do some little practices to bring yourself back into your body, involving nervous system regulation. We've got the quiet mind card coming out as well. The quiet mind card is, I allow my mind to rest in silence. Honestly, if you want to hear your oversoul, which is what I call your higher self, because it's overarching, it's not that it is higher than you in a hierarchy sense. The oversoul is, for you to hear that is silence, right? For us to hear things, most times we have to stop and we have to silence our mind, because otherwise it's competing with the noise of all of our thoughts or the movements that we're doing and the activity and the busyness. And that's keeping us dissociated from it. We've got our radiant influence. Of course we do. My presence influences the world around me. It does, whether your presence is positive or negative. You are influencing things around you with whatever you're sitting in. So if you're sitting in a state of lack, that is you vibrating lack rings out into the environment, into the field around you. And guess what's going to come back? Some experience of lack, right? It's like the ripple that goes out and ripples back. It's not coming back the same ripple, but that ripple that's coming back is going to give you the experience that you seem to want to have because you're spending your time in that energy. So spend your time in the energy of gratitude, spend your energy in the time of prosperity, like just knowing that you're abundant, right? Because maybe, you can see that certain things you've always had. You've never had to worry about your food, for instance, or you've always had a roof over your head. So you can be feeling prosperous because you have those things. The last one that came out from the 44 keys of the way is the breakthrough. Insight emerges as patience. So breakthrough follows sustained effort. Pressure builds until shift occurs. Consistency prepares for the moment. So this is about like whatever you're doing consistently is what's going to dictate what your life is. So if more often than not you're spent in anxiety or you're spent experiencing emotions like fear and lack, that's what you're going to see most of. Right. And the reason why you're seeing that is it's for you to open up your eyes and going, what is it in me that's mirroring or reflecting or resonating with that? What is it within me? Is there an identity that I'm refusing to let go of that has aligned me with this? Maybe I've been somebody that's always struggled. So even though I've done all this healing, I'm still in my identity, someone that struggles. Right? You're the one that has to work through that and understand what are all my identities. So one of the homework assignments I would give you, especially if you were in my group spaces, I would say to you, write I am, and then all the things that you have identified, all the roles, all the identities, all the thoughts that you've had of yourself, even the ones that aren't good. Right? Like I say this, I've said this many times, I am love and light, and I am an asshole. Right. And the reason why I say that is because, well, many people find that, that I'm a bit tough. And that's because when I find the truth, you can't tell me to not think it, not say it, not speak my truth, right? Or not be my truth. People can't get me to bend over and, believe lies because I've got discernment. And that can be very abrasive to other people, right? People really like it when you will change your mind to suit them. And when you don't, that can be really hard on other people. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'll shine a light on your demon, no problem. All right. So return to self or center. The two cards that came out for that, one was from reconnection and the other was from boundary. Like I said, I don't have pictures for these ones yet. Reconnection is about staying with yourself. Do not abandon yourself. And we do that all the time. We abandon ourselves for the other all the time. In stress, you may disconnect from your own needs or experience. Staying with yourself builds stability and trust. So when you're feeling stressed and you feel the urge to sometimes we'll be in an experience and our go-to is, oh my God, I got to make sure that they're okay. I used to do that. Get into a big, huge fight with your partner, and even though there's everybody brings a piece to it, I brought a piece, they brought a piece. So there's my part that I played in that. But let's say, they were found to be texting some other girl and you get into an argument because they're texting some other girl. And at the end of the day, you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Right? I've been there where it's turned back around and then I'm the one that's trying to soothe that person for the mistake that they did towards me because I didn't trust in me or, because of the healing that I had to do because I had that anxious attachment. So of course that I needed to keep that person, right? That connection thing. When you sit and you ask yourself, what do I need in this moment, right? What is the most, what do I need right now? And your body might respond with compassion. Your body might respond with with hydration. You need water. Your body might respond with clean your house, because maybe part of what's happening right now is that you're feeling overwhelmed because of information or energy. And a part of cleaning your house is getting rid of that, or putting the energy in its place and clearing out some of the energy that's stagnant. Right. So allow your body, or allow yourself, come to yourself first before immediately going to that other person to repair. Go to yourself first and say, what do I need? And then provide that to yourself before you move forward. Okay. And it's just one simple response, and then follow it. All right. Our last card is boundaries. And it's saying you do not need to engage. And it's true. Engagement is optional. Not every invitation requires a response. Choosing not to engage is a valid and often stabilizing option. And if you think about somebody like me doing social media and going live like this, somebody comes in. I mean, I had someone come in one time making all kinds of comments about I had a turkey neck and all this other stuff. If I engage with that, right, that's destabilizing for me. The best thing that I can do when somebody does that, if they come up and they, say something really, rude and, is just to go and block and just be done with it, not give it any moment of my time. So in this one here, you do not need to engage in everything is asking you to just delay your response. Just sit with it for a moment and determine, is this something that actually requires my engagement? And if I participate in this, what is that going to mean for me? Right? Because sometimes we get into an engagement where you're like, you get trolls online and they're just saying all these, you're never going to win that. There's never any convincing them to not be rude, to convince them not to put, nasty comments on your or other people's stuff. You're not going to change them. So engagement in that space is a waste of your energy. And it's just telling that person that they've got you, right? That they can control you because they can affect your emotions. All right. So choose silence or non-engagement. Sometimes not engaging is the best choice. Alrighty. Who feels like getting a meditation on? Who feels like doing some powerful, energetic work for the collective? Because I am. And we know part of it is we want to come home to ourselves, right? And I've been doing very well. I'm sorry, I really didn't give you a good hello, Ernestine. It has been a very, very long time. All right. It has been far too long. Please come and hang out with me more. Right now, I'm Sunday at 7:30 and Wednesday at 7:30 plus Saturday at 10 a.m. Mountain. That may change. It depends on the Saturday slot and whether or not it gets going, because I might do Sunday, Tuesday, Thursdays as opposed to Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. We'll see. We'll see. All right. No changes happening today. I'm going to get my music going so we have some good sound in the background. If there's anything that you want included in the meditation, just let me know. So one of the things that I actually offer is custom journeys or meditations. They're two different things though. Custom meditation won't necessarily, it gets a meditation. It can be about, like you want a bedtime meditation, or you want, a meditation for that. But a custom journey is you have something that you want to address or work through or clear, or, you have something that you're struggling with. I'm going to have a questionnaire that you fill out. And then from that questionnaire, I'm going to create the custom journey for you. And then you'll get the MP3 or whatever, you'll get the file and be able to listen to it as much as you need. All right, let me get and if anybody has any questions about anything that I do, anything that I offer, who I am, where I came from, what my background is, any of that stuff, ask. Okay, I got my music picked. I'm going to set up this beautiful thing behind me. I have to get my my other channel set up. Where is it? Nope, not that one. That one. There we go. All right. Hi, Brianna. What's your channel all about? Because I don't just follow anybody. All right. We are good. Just a side note, if you have, no matter which channel you're watching from, once I get going, if you can just make sure to let me know that the volume is not too loud, that would be awesome. Just to make sure. Okay. All righty. All right. Nobody has anything special that they want added into the meditation, besides like there's that element of finding ourselves. I would suggest, Kelly, to definitely go to my website and sign up for a free clarity call, and just we'll have a talk and I'll see what I would help you with. I have a bunch of different membership spaces. And by that, I mean, I have 3, one's free and then 2 other ones. So definitely check that out. All right. Let's get our volume going here. Perfect timing. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep my electronics from direct sunlight, because otherwise my iPad will shut off. And trying to, okay, I think we got it. I think we got it to sit there. Okay. Get you guys all set up nice and right. Can you hear the music, and is it too loud? I think on the TikTok, it might be you can only hear it when I'm speaking. Yes, no, you can hear it, but when I'm probably when I'm speaking. Yeah, I don't know how to fix that with TikTok. I don't know how to make it better sounding. All right, let's get started. So what I want you to do first off is make sure that your device is in a good spot, that you're safe to close your eyes, you're safe to do this. You're not driving or operating any heavy equipment. So the first thing that we're going to do is just be present in this moment. And I want to welcome you here, because we're gathering right now not to impose or to control or to override free will. We are here to become coherent, harmonic resonance within the living field. We gather in peace, we gather in love, we gather in truth, and we gather in unity. May this meditation serve all willing, consenting beings, Mother Gaia, all non-speaking life aligned with harmony, and the highest timelines available for each soul in accordance with divine law. Now start by taking a nice breath in through your nose, into your tummy, up to your chest, where you pause and then let it out nice and slow. And as you let that breath out nice and slow, I want you to sink into the space that comes up. Okay, so just rest into that space. Take another breath in and out the same way, nice and deep, engaging your diaphragm and allowing yourself to sink into that wonderful space that comes up. On the third breath, you may find yourself in a more relaxed space where the sounds around you start to fade. Your voice becomes quiet in your mind. Now, before we transmit outward, we are going to stabilize inward. So the first thing I want you to do is feel your body. Okay? Feel the chair or the surface beneath you. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel your breath move through your body. Now relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Relax your belly. There is nowhere to force yourself to be. Your nervous system is part of the meditation. Now, bring awareness to your heart center. You can even place your hand over your heart if that feels right. There is a black gold still point in the center of space. I want you to visualize this luminous point of stillness in the center of your chest. This is a point before thought, before fear, before separation. This is the still point, the eternal center. I'm going to begin toning now, so you are prepared. Allow the tone to move through your body like a wave of peace. Now visualize two spheres of light overlapping, one above, one below. Spirit and matter, heaven and earth. Self and source. Where they meet, the Vesica Pisces forms a beautiful almond shape. This is the geometry of birth, creation, union, coherence. Allow the field to soften. Allow the heart to open naturally. Now the Vesica Pisces begins expanding outward, forming the flower of origin, living geometry, harmonic symmetry, the architecture of interconnected life. See every circle connected, every being connected, every life influencing the whole. Now we send harmony through the emotional waters of humanity and Gaia. See ripple rings moving outward across the earth, through oceans, through hearts, through nervous systems. No force, no control, only harmonic invitation. Now see an emerald gold rose geometry expanding from the heart, from the center of the flower of origin. A rose spiral emerges. The harmonic geometry of love. Not attachment, not possession, not emotional control, but coherent love, stable love, living love.
May all willing hearts remember coherence. Now visualize a golden Merkaba surrounding the earth. 2 interlocking tetrahedrons. 1 triangular pyramid facing upwards. 1 triangular pyramid facing downwards. The earth within them. See these interlocking tetrahedrons spinning in perfect harmony. Now see the same geometry around yourself, spinning in perfect harmony. Both yours and the planetary light body stabilize. And don't worry if you can't visualize it. Know that setting the intention is enough. Your oversoul knows what to do. Now we anchor into Gaia. We anchor our crystalline roots into the earth, descending into crystal, water, stone, soil. See the energetic roots that you extend into the earth, connecting into the mycelium network. See the roots that extend from you, branching far and wide, connecting into the other branches of those who are part of the meditation today, allowing our energy to amplify the work that we are doing for all consenting beings, including Mother Gaia herself.
May Gaia and all willing and consenting beings stabilize into their highest harmonic expression. Now, above the earth, see the canopy of stars, ancient suns, living consciousness, cosmic memory. May all willing beings remember their place within the living cosmos. Now I'm going to go through the tones that I've done in this meditation. The earth is stabilizing in concentric harmonic light. Om. Feel the field settling. Feel peace without force, love without attachment, unity without assimilation, truth without fear. Standing before you is a portal. It appears as a doorway filled with light. As you walk through this doorway, it is a remembrance, a reconnection, a realignment with your true self. It will reveal the masks and identities and roles that you have taken on that are not yours. It will reveal them as garments of clothing that you no longer need to wear. Choose to walk through the portal if you wish. Anything that occurs is through consent and through your sovereignty. As you walk through the portal, or walk around it should you choose not to experience it, you see a bell before you. Again, you do not need to strike the bell if you do not want to. This bell is pure source light tone. When you strike this bell, it's going to vibrate and resonate through your body, through your energetic layers, and clear any trauma, lies, distortions, illusions, manipulations, any contracts, ties to any lifetimes, timelines, realities, dimensions, or spaces that are not aligned with your divine highest self. It releases those as that tone rings through your body. Ring the bell if you wish, and allow that sound to resonate, vibrating through every cell, every space, rippling through your body, removing all of the trauma, all of the lies, all of the illusions, and all of the contracts made and false. Now, all of us who are present for this meditation surround a giant bell. We all join together now to strike this bell and ring it loud. As this bell rings, it vibrates through the entirety of Mother Gaia, through all seen and unseen life. And where consent is found, trauma is cleared. Strike that bell with me now and watch it vibrate through the earth and through all beings. May this transmission offered today serve only the highest good, divine love, divine truth, divine law, and the sovereign evolution of all willing beings. May all life move toward coherence, greater coherence, peace, and remembrance according to its own sacred path. May Mother Gaia be supported in her highest harmonic expression. And so it is. Now take a breath in, feel your body, exhale. Bring your awareness to your feet. Bring your awareness to your seat. Bring your awareness to your heart space. Feel the earth. And when you're ready, gently return. Welcome back. Hi, thank you for following. I'm going to pause the music. Make sure, because I did hide my notes, my comments, unfortunately. I blocked them. Somebody tried to get me shut down during my live. That was, someone came in and they just typed a whole bunch of the N words. Silliness. I don't know why that would even affect me. That should affect them. And I don't understand how they can type that stuff and not get an immediate block. But sometimes someone will say, I love you on my feed and it blocks it, or I'll say something nice and it blocks it. It's so weird. Have you found that, Robert? I don't know if you're still on. I know you're quite busy and doing a lot of lives, so you might not have stuck around, but how did you find that meditation? Did you enjoy it? How did it feel ringing the bell? Did you choose to ring it? Love you. Hi, Jer Bear. You just missed the meditation. Yep. 8-8 Lionsgate. Hi, Bob Life. How are you? What do you have planned for today? You know me, I'm always creating things. So I have lots of things to do. I did want to try something, but I need someone to be a guinea pig for me. Carol, did you want to be a guinea pig? You rang that bell. Boom, boom. Clear the trauma. In there, just dong, 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 like the monkey. Bong, bong, bong. All right. Okay, I want to try something. Will you let me use you as a guinea pig, Carol? Unless somebody else wants to offer themselves up, but I think Carol will definitely allow me. How do you feel from that? Did you enjoy it? Do you think I should like tweak it a little bit? Is the toning too much? Right? You'll let me do it for you. Do something. I wanted to try channeling a message online and channeling the message that someone most needs to hear. Hi, I haven't seen you in a long time, Shalashni. How are you? How are things going? Yeah, maybe, sure. All right. I just want to try this. I want to try this, and I've been wanting to do it for a while. But of course you have to have somebody on the other side that's willing. So thank goodness for Carol. All right. All right. So I told you that I do automatic writing or channel writing, and that's what I do every morning. And I write these notes, and I also write a note for myself every day, but I also do these notes for other people. So I'm going to channel a note for Carol right now. Okay. Want to know your message? I hope that wasn't too much watching and waiting for me to write the message for her. So, Carol, this is the message that came through for you. Carol, my beloved child, I know your heart is heavy. You have picked up on the collective grief mixed with expectations and attachments. Do not fear. Remember to focus on what you wish to see. You are meant to transmute the grief you feel and use harmonics as your tool. Sing, chant, tone, speak light language. See the grief evaporate into love. You are never alone. We love you. So that's your message. I think that's a lovely little message. So what are you guys doing for the rest of your Saturday? Or Sunday if you're in a different time zone. Right? I'm like, I could just see it, right? Like, and when we talked about ringing the bell and the meditation and thinking about like the harmonics and stuff like that. But yeah, any of that. And all of us have to remember that it doesn't matter who you are, whatever your focus is on, whatever the overriding energy that you spend in is the life that you're creating from. So if you're spending your time in fear or lack or hate or anger, frustration, any of that, that's what you're going to see more of in your life, because that's what the unifying field of consciousness that's all around you, that's resonating with all of your energy, is picking up. And it's like, well, that's the energy they're in. We're going to magnetize more of it because you're a bioelectrical magnetic being. Right? So the magnetic, right, is gonna come back to you. So much needed self-care. Yes, right? Much needed self-care. And you know what? Like self-care it's very simple, but we make it seem very hard. Because we've been pushed into, like, through this whole experience that we're in, we've been put in a position where we've given up our authority or sovereignty to somebody else, whether it's the government, the church, our parents, the police, like, somebody has authority, right? Or somebody has more knowledge, even though those in authority are doing more things, more terrible things than anybody else. And the knowledge that they are giving us isn't accurate, right? So, we spend a lot of time in that space. And from that space of being, born and raised in that environment, we're looking outside of ourselves for that very thing that's going to help us or save us or fix us or whatever. So we're looking, who's going to come along and save me? Who's going to come along and heal me? Who's going to come along and fix society? Who's going to come along and, like, address the environment? And meanwhile, it's all to you. It's all back to you. If you put yourself as a priority in your life would change drastically, especially if you did it from the health aspect. A lot of times we'll put ourselves as a priority, but it's almost like narcissistic in a way. Like, we'll put ourselves in a priority of, what am I going to accomplish? What am I going to achieve? How famous can I be? How much applause can I get? How much money can I, like, it's from that aspect, as opposed to putting yourself first in the sense that, how can I breathe slower today? How can I honor me as a human being and all of it, not just as my productivity, right? Stuff like that. It is. That can be the most challenging part, is staying consistent. Some of the things you want to have some flow with, you want to allow yourself to have that freedom to allow things to move, but you also want to create a structure. And we know that we're in a good space when we can have both, because the structures, the masculine energy, the flow is the feminine energy. When we can go with both of those and equal measure and, maintain harmony in our life, then that's showing us that our masculine and feminine energies are balanced within us. Many of us are operating too much in the masculine energy, and it is go, 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 do, 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 just constantly in this. We got to be doing something, because if I'm not productive, then I'm not worthy. If I'm not making money, then I'm a loser. Whatever these ideals that, we've been handed to us, that you have to be making so much money to be worthwhile. And you can see the way that they do that, because even the way that they have made, those individuals who are struggling the most in society, they have us looking at them like they're just bad animals. They just didn't fall in line. They just weren't able to work hard enough, or they got an addiction, or, they're a criminal, right? Like, to look at them from that way, instead of looking at them like a human being and question the society that we live in, where people could actually die just because they're not making enough money, or that they're to be thought of as less because of some arbitrary thing that these guys up here think or say. Right? We need to go back to understanding that we are all valuable, just being, the same as this nature is valuable, and we have to become stewards of it again, right? We have to make that our priority. Sometimes consistency is better if you've got friends, if you've got help, right? If you can come and hang out in a membership space and you have that consistency to kind of help you, right? Because then you can be like, okay, so I know every Monday in the group, there's this post, which is going to cue me in to remember, to do a breathing activity or do something like that. Or I know that this group, we go live 2 times a month. So I know 2 times a month I'm going to meet, and it's going to reiterate the things that I'm learning, or it's going to reaffirm something, or it's going to get me back to where I'm supposed to be, because maybe I've gotten off track a little bit. There's lots of those things available. You can hang out here with me. I have a free group on my website. It's the Temple of Light, because your body is the temple for your spirit, which is the light. So Temple of Light. I also have the Balanced Self Sanctuary, which is a great membership space for those who are on their healing journey. Maybe you're dealing with triggers, you're dealing with your window of tolerance, you're regulating your nervous system, you're working through all of those. That's the one group that I have. And then the other group is more for those who have done that healing and stabilized it, and they're more in the awakening, my mission, my purpose, my passion, staying consistent long-term with those things. The one that we did, the session that we did last for the Embodied Leadership Circle was called Courage Over Comfort, Leading When the Path is Uncertain. What a great one that was. That actually was so, so good for me even. I was like, oh my gosh, by the end of it, I had really peeled back another layer for myself. So it was really powerful. The last group meeting that we had in the Balanced Self Sanctuary was the stories we tell ourselves, how our inner dialogue shapes our reality, like how the stories that we tell ourselves can affect our reality. The next one that we have in the Balanced Self Sanctuary is Self-Trust is Built, Not Found. And the next one in the Embodied Leadership Circle is Influence Begins with Presence. I think it's about being present with influence. I'd have to look at it to be certain with it. The third week of August, I'm going to be doing a Return to Center, which is a 7-day course that will eventually be, you can purchase it. I run this course 4 times a year as a live. So if you're lucky, you can get into one of the live courses. That way there, every day you're going to have that accountability partner. And these are just 1 hour a day. I know that might be a lot to do 7 days of 1 hour, but you're going to get a wonderful PDF. You're going to get lots of practical tools. These are between somatic practices, journaling, heart math, like all the things that I've studied, as well as like spiritual energetics as well. To return you to your center. So you can stay present, you can stay grounded, you can keep access to your clarity when life is not certain, right? There's all kinds of times when things can happen. And the best thing that we can do is stay connected to ourselves and the moments so that we can make clearer decisions rather than becoming triggered and into, our reactionary spaces where we maybe are not making the best decisions. Sometimes the decisions that we make in those spaces, we make them because we're feeling very, very pressured. Like there's a lot of urgency to come up to make a decision right away. So just know that that's something that's happening in August. The third week of August starts August 17th. When we start the class, I'm going to give the individuals in the class the option of whether or not they want to do the 7 days straight. So we'll do Saturday and Sunday, or if they would rather do Monday to Friday, pause for the weekend, and then do Monday, Tuesday to finish the 7 days. So that'll be given to whoever joins in the group. There is a self-study package that's available. It's the 10-day course because originally Return to Center was 10 days. So you can purchase that as a standalone, do it on your own. You get a PDF. There's probably more than 20 different practices that you get, along with the 10 videos, which gives you a little bit of information and then the practices. And when it was the 10-day course, the classes were they weren't even over a half an hour in length. But because I'm making it 7 days, I'm just saying they're an hour just to give myself that extra buffer of time. So, they might take a half an hour, it might take 45 minutes, but, just so that you know that. September, I'm starting Return to Self. That is for the individuals. It's not a necessary, I don't want to target it as like a trauma program or, inner child healing or shadow work, although we will definitely be addressing those throughout the program. I just want you to understand this is a program where it is going to return you to yourself, reducing the masks, the identities, the roles, all of that you had to play, allowing yourself to maintain connection to yourself when life is not stable. It's giving you a whole host of practices and tools that you can use. And it's really bringing you back to that sovereign space. So where we're no longer giving our authority to somebody else, right? Whether it's the government, church, a partner, a whatever, something like that, right? Where we're giving up that someone has more authority over us than that, or that our healing is reliant upon somebody external to us doing something. It's not. Anytime that you heal, you're the one that has to apply it, right? Even the doctor, if he gave you a pill that would cure you, you have to take the pill. Like the doctor can but you have to take it, swallow it, ingest it, right? You have to digest it. So the same thing goes with everything else. I can give you a whole bunch of information on how to address your trauma. I do one-to-one trauma and nervous system support sessions. So you can more than certainly do that. at the end of the day, it's you. You are the one that has to do the breathing. You're the one that has to do the journaling. You're the one that has to catch yourself. You're the one that has to meditate. You're the one that has to learn mindfulness, right? You're the one that has to do the actual practices in your day-to-day life. So if you're willing to do that and want to do that and want to see a change in your life, definitely come and hang out with me. One thing I can tell you is my life has drastically changed where I was before healing and where I am after healing. Now I get to be the true me, the real me, and align with people and that are in relationship with me that are aligned, where it is, they're held to a better standard. That's for sure. And I'm not running around going, please, 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 just like me, please, 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 just be here, just please, please, please take care of me, just looking for that savior, because that's what ends up happening a lot when we become victimized as children. You came by your traumas honestly. They weren't something that, that you deserved to have happen. They weren't something that happened because there was something wrong with you, because you were a bad person, because of any reason for that. The traumas happened to you because the person that did them didn't heal theirs, or was disconnected from their soul so much that they could perpetrate these evil acts. And so that's not you, that there was anything wrong with you. It was something that was wrong with them. And that's the biggest part of the reconciling that needs to happen when we're healing our trauma. Most of us identified it as, there's something wrong with me. Your parent's supposed to love the child. So if the parent's not loving the child decides it's not a problem with the parents, it's a problem with me, the child. There must be something wrong why my parents can't even love me. There must be something wrong with me that my parents beat me. There must be something wrong with me. And that's not the truth, right? And part of the healing process is understanding and recognizing that. And then realizing that by giving away your healing to other people means it's never getting done. The way for you to reclaim it is to know that you're the one that's going to have to do the day-to-day practical stuff. Okay. And like I said, the membership spaces, we meet twice a month. There's lots of content. I put posts in twice a week in each of the membership spaces. Temple of Light, there's no meetings in there because that's just the free membership space. So you can hang out there if you want, and get just a little bit more information. You can check out the other free resources that are at Anshara'El. And if you have any questions about anything, just sign up for a free clarity call, because that'll get your questions answered. I get to meet you, which is nice. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to sell you the biggest thing that I have. I just want you to be met where you're at. And if where you're at is you really want to do healing, but you don't have the finances to do like an 8-week program, then maybe I would suggest return to center. Today is the last day to get the early bird for Return to Center. It's an $88 Canadian course for the 7 days. So it's like $10 a day. And it's also, it's $88 for the 7 days, and that's Canadian. So that's even cheaper than, if you're not in Canada, that's very cheap. It's on sale for $66, which ends today. Okay. There is a post somewhere that has the details about that you can reference. But if you have any questions and you really want to be a part of Return to Center and you want to get it at the discount, you can always message me and I will send it to you and honor that for you. So I'll make sure that you have the code, because it's a coupon code. And I think it's tweet R2C. I believe that's what it is, because it was an early bird. So tweet, and it was Return to Center. So I probably did the R and then the number 2 and the C for it. So, but I mean, if that wasn't the case, if that didn't work when you put it in, just message me and I'll give you I'll correct it. Make sure you get the right code. I'm back here on Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And yeah. Any other questions or anything I can help you with before I take off today? Maybe we can give you a card. Right? I think there's a couple people on here. Jordan, because that's who I was thinking about when I pulled it. It says awareness. This is not yours. You are absorbing what does not belong to you. You are taking on emotions or stress from outside yourself, creating confusion about what you are actually feeling. This blurs your internal signals and weakens boundaries. Embodiment practice. Say out loud, "This is not mine." Visualize it leaving your body. Then take one slow breath and feel your own body again. Now, if you're not certain what you're picking up that is not yours, you can always say, "What of this is mine?" and then release what isn't, right? What of this is mine? I release what is not and just let it go. Okay, Gina. I'm trying to jump. I didn't wear my glasses, so I have a hard time seeing that because it's very pale. It's very pale on my thing. Maybe if I did it this way. Gina. Okay, good. I was like, I'm pretty sure it says Gina, but all right. Can I get a nice card for Gina, please? This is from my Return to Self course, but I called the deck Return to Center rather than Return to Self. Like I said, I tend to make tarot and oracle cards to go along with my educational programs as kind of an adjunct. Woohoo. Regulation. Reduce input. Less input creates clarity. When your system is overloaded, additional input prevents processing. Reducing input creates space for your system to catch up. Embodiment practice. Turn off all external input. Sit in a quiet environment for several minutes. Sometimes we don't realize that. We don't realize how these subtle energies are pulling on us all the time. If you're in a room and within that room, say you've got Wi-Fi, you've got Bluetooth, you've got radio waves, you've got all the waves. So those are things that you're not even seeing, but they're affecting you. Then you have, say, a TV on in the background, and maybe you're playing on your phone and you've got that going on, and there's the hum from the heating and air conditioning system. There's the hum from the fridge. There's in the back of your mind, I've got this to do. I've got that to do. I've got to respond to this message. I got to call this person back. I have to pay that bill. This thing's coming up, that thing's coming up. Oh my God, how did that go? That thing that's passed, and what did, so those are all different ways that we are being overstimulated in our environment. There's a constant pull at our attention for something. So that's what this is talking about, is taking the opportunity to just silence everything. If you can go outside and sit in nature somewhere quiet, and maybe even put your bare skin on the ground, and because grounding is a significant and powerful tool to use, right? By allowing yourself to it's all about the ions, the negative ions that you have, right? There's that transfer of ions between you and the earth. It's no different than, you're carrying around like negativity, and you just kind of need a lightning strike to kind of like balance it all out again. Same thing. Go put your feet on the earth, go ground in nature, and just sit in the silence of it all. Turn your phone off, or leave it in the house, or leave it somewhere, and just be in that silence for a little bit. Try to find at least 5 minutes a day that you can spend in silence without anything pulling at you. Okay? And see how that helps you. Is there anyone else that's on that wants a card before I go? Hi, Timothy. Well, I'm going to read this one because it came out. So maybe somebody's there not saying anything but would like a card, or maybe, this is the one I need to hear. I don't know. You are overstimulated. So it really comes on the heels of the last card that we had. Your system has taken in too much. What is coming in is beyond what you can handle. You can't process everything that you are receiving. Perception becomes distorted. Urgency increases, and small things feel larger than they are. Decision quality drops as your system prioritizes speed over accuracy. Embodiment practice. Stop input for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Put one hand on your heart and one on your sacral, so below your belly button. Slow your breathing and keep your attention on the rise and fall of your breath. Okay? All right. Well, I love you guys, and I thank you so much for hanging out with me on this beautiful Saturday. I don't know, we might be getting some rain coming in here. I think that Alberta was calling for a bunch of rain in the next little bit. So I'm glad that I got to enjoy this live outside. It's my preference. I would prefer to do lives all the time outside. So hopefully my future involves a climate where you can be outside all the time. Or also have to figure something else out. Maybe have just a bigger deck or something. But if you're looking for anything, go check out my website. You can always send me a message, or you can sign up for a free clarity call. And otherwise, I will see you tomorrow night at about 7:30 p.m. Mountain right here. And we'll talk about embodied spirituality and all other things around healing and healing and stuff. All right. I love you guys. I will see you later. I'm going to close this one down now because that person went away first. Love you. I'll see you in the next one. 7:30 p.m. tomorrow, or Wednesday if you can't make it tomorrow. No problem. Love you. Thank you for joining me.